Okay, these keep getting later and later on Sunday nights because the weekends are still packed full of lots of phone calls, lots of research, reading bills, lots of Zoom calls. As the session goes on, you might see me with a glass of bourbon in a couple of days. Probably be more interesting, maybe not quite as informative. So the news this week is just going to be all the stuff that's moving. And we've got some great news, especially on House Bill 169. This is our key legislation for those that are hired after 2003, the retiree insurance. We finally have the final actuarial on this, and we have not only the agreement of the League of Cities, but they are going to their board tomorrow to get them to vote to actually support this bill, which means they're not going to just be standing back and not against it. They're actually going to be supporting it, and means they'll be lobbying alongside of us, because we have basically gone to them and say, hey, this is a bill. We need you to spend more money. They're the employer, to try to increase this benefit because it is no good. And we've been able to get them to agree to that. So here's where we are. As you know, if you look at the LRC website, what you see there, that is not the bill that's coming out. There will be a committee sub that's going to be filed. What that will be is, as you know, it's $15 was the starting point for hazardous, $10 for non-hazardous. There was a cost of living adjustment to that as it goes up, so 1.5% per year. Whatever that figure is in the year that you retire, you take that figure, multiply it by your years of service, and that's what you get as a monthly stipend towards purchasing a state health plan. Right now, that figure is about $21. So you figure when people the first Tier 1B people start becoming eligible in another year and a half, they're going to be looking at like $21.50, about $420 is what they're going to have to spend every month. So what we've been able to do to change that is a couple things. One, that money does not have to be spent on the state plan. You can now take that on the open market, so that you would be able to find another plan. So if you can find something that's better suited to you, that will work better, or maybe if your spouse has a job that has some other types of monies coming in there, however you want to play it, you can purchase a plan on the open market. And where that money is going to change, so with any person that works to their full retirement eligibility, so for Tier 1B people it's 20 years, for Tier 2 and Tier 3 people it would be 25 years, any year that you stay past that minimum retirement eligibility, whatever that figure is, it adds another $5. So for instance, those Tier 1B people that would be eligible in 2023, they stay another, say, 3 years. So now whatever that X is 21. By that time it'll be like maybe $21.75, close to $22, but those 3 extra years would add another $15. So we'll be looking at $37 times their 23 years of service. That's like $850, somewhere around there. Somebody else can do the math for me. But that would at least be enough to buy a single plan on the state's price, but also you could take that on the open market to do something else. Again, is it perfect? No. Is it a lot more than what we have right now? Yes, it is. And it's a war of inches. The good thing about this is that looking at those plans, probably in another 7 years or so, that health insurance, the CERS hazardous duty health insurance plan, is going to be fully funded. And when that is fully funded, and it's going to come true for a CERS non-haz, state police, basically everything except for the KERS non-haz. So once those are fully funded, whoever's got these jobs in another 7 years can start looking at improving that even more. So really, by the time the Tier 2 people reach that eligibility in 2033, hopefully there can be another change to once again move that ball down the field again to get a better benefit. So again, when we get confirmation that that's going to be heard on Thursday, I'm going to put that out because we're going to want some people there just to let the legislators know how serious this is to us and how important it is. 227, this was Mark Hart's bill about a First Responders Recognition Day. That passed out of committee and it passed out of the House, and it's been received in the Senate. House Bill 562, this is one just got introduced last week, deals with 48 hours of leave post-critical incident. So if you were involved in an incident that is very troubling or damaging to your mental health, you can have up to 48 hours of leave. It'll be up to the municipality to decide if that's paid or non-paid, but it could guarantee at least 48 hours of leave post-incident. That has been received in the House VMAP committee, that's Veterans, Military Affairs, and Public Protection. House Bill 777, this is the EMS bill that was 296, then it was 505, now it's 777, that we have been negotiating and fighting and back and forth for quite some time. So this has now finally come up with something that we can live with, that everybody else can live with. It restructures K-beams, it takes it out of KCTCS, it puts it over in general government. It makes sure that the hospitals cannot do 911. They can only do interfacility transports. They can handle an emergency if it's at their hospital. So in other words, if they say it's a smaller hospital and they have their own ambulance and there's an emergency there and they need to get somebody to a better hospital like a level 1 trauma center, then they could use their ambulance. They wouldn't have to call 911. If they want to, they can, but they would be allowed to handle emergencies that originate at their facility. They could handle an emergency to go get someone from another facility to bring it to theirs, but only if whoever has EMS jurisdiction in that where that other facility is located, they would have to request permission first. They can only do 911 in an area where they have a contract, because that exists right now. There are some areas where a private hospital ambulance is the 911 service for that area, so they didn't want to get that. But again, they would have to have a contract with the local government, whether that be the city or the county, in order to do that. But basically, it keeps the hospitals out of EMS. It creates a new K-beams board. KPFF would be allowed, will have a seat on that board to place one of our EMS professionals on there. And similarly with the legislative task force, that's going to come with a committee sub over in the Senate side, that the KPFF will be able to put one of our EMS professionals on that board as well. So this is a good bill. It's a decent bill. Is it great? No, but it keeps the hospitals out of 911. It keeps K-beams. KCTCS did not want them anymore, and it keeps K-beams out of the Cabinet for Health and Family Services, but it keeps them in general government, which is good news. So that is 777. Took a lot of heartache. There's still a lot of back and forth. The counties who initially had been in that negotiation had agreed to what we came up with now are deciding that they changed their mind. And that's just a bad place to be. You don't want to do that. The only thing you have out there is your word, and once you break that, people will they're not going to work with you. Senate side, Senate Bill 7 has reared its head. This is basically some of the worst parts of when House Bill 1 years ago that created the right to work in the state of Kentucky. There was a Senate Bill 6 that had a lot of really bad things in there that were anti-union. This is that anti-union stuff again. Senate Bill 7 is just a pure anti-union bill. It makes it far more difficult for people to do dues checkoff. So if you're collecting dues through payroll deduction, it makes it more difficult to do that. So we are absolutely in opposition to Senate Bill 7. Robert Stivers is the one pushing that bill. It has not yet been assigned to a committee. Senate Bill 27, this is Senator Nemes's bill for Fire Commission instructors that had already passed out of the Senate, made it to the House. It has been assigned to the House VMAP, so that should be going forward. And Senate Bill 64, this is Senator Mike Wilson's bill about peer support groups. Again, it doesn't actually deal with like the peer support program that we have with the Chip Terry Act. This is kind of a different program. It's a good bill, but it's harmless, doesn't cost anything. That has passed out of the Senate, made it over to the House, made it out of committee, and it is actually on the House floor to go on the orders of the day tomorrow. So got some movement in the House on that one. And that's pretty much all that's going on. So again, I'm going to be back in touch with you if we need to get some people there on Thursday at noon in the State Government Committee for House Bill 169. If you have any questions, hit me up, myself, President Baer and Secretary Treasurer Pletsky, and I'm sure a few of you others are going to be, they're probably in Washington, D.C. right now for the legislative conventions or conference, LegCon. So talk to them about those issues. If you have any questions on what's going on in Frankfort, I will be there all week. But as always, let me know if you need anything, and stay safe out there. Bye.